conversations with gospel artists, pastors. Our faith is what got us through all the troubles and disasters. Indeed, we fell short, but the Lord never passed us. Our belief in God is the most important factor. It's the Veleka B Project. You're now tuned in to the Veleka B Project with your host, Veleka B, lover of God, founder and CEO of Set Apart and Chosen. Sit back and relax and enjoy the conversation.
Hey family, it's your girl Veleka B with the Veleka B Project and Set Apart and Chosen. I am excited to be here on today with my special guest is in the building, Reverend Yearwood. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm excited. I'm from Louisiana, so it's getting close to the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I'm fired up because we're still here. So
Listen,
that's half the battle right there.
awesome, awesome. And let everybody know what role, because I'm seeing that you're the president and CEO of the Hip Hop Caucus, and it's a national recognized leader. You're a national recognized leader at the intersection of culture and social justice. Can you let us know a little bit more about you and what you have going on?
Yeah, well, I'm from Louisiana.
Okay.
I am the president of Hip Hop Caucus. Hip Hop Caucus turns
Caucus. Okay.
21. Yeah, Hip Hop Caucus turns 21 years this year. So it's been around for a minute, done some great work, won a whole bunch of awards for the work that it's been doing about trying to use one's cultural expression to shape one's political experience. We've done everything from voting campaigns to economic justice to obviously climate justice. And so, in that role, obviously, me being from Louisiana and being the president, able to then use my platform to fight for my community back home in New Orleans and throughout the state of Louisiana. And so, we have been at the forefront of that fight for now 20 years. Every year, we've shown up down in New Orleans, and so this year is like none other, but we were shook again to ensure that we're at the levees, which was where the water came in at. We actually painted the levees. So every year for 20 years, we would go to the levees. It'd be like this really white and kind of plain, not very attractive. And so this year we asked young people to paint the levees and paint their vision of what they see the future to look like on the same thing that caused so much harm for our people. So that has been done. But then we'll now get ready for the anniversary. But more importantly, after we march and do our thing on the anniversary, we're going to
Mhm.
keep fighting for justice. And I think that's what's most exciting about what I do and what the caucus does.
Awesome. What keep your passion? Because after so many years, people forget about a cause or a thing like that. But
Yeah.
you've been having it going on for over 20 years now. What's
Yeah.
your passion to keep this going?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's because God called me to this work. And
Awesome.
so and I'm very clear on what that mission and calling was. I was, obviously, I'm a reverend, and people would actually able to look at me and say, "You a real reverend?" I said, "I'm a real ordained reverend." And all that, everything, and when I was in seminary, I actually went to Howard University School of Divinity.
Okay.
And when I was in seminary, everybody was going off to work in different churches. That was the kind of goal. And God called me at that time to go into this ministry, work within the hip hop community.
Mhm.
And I never forget, it was funny. One of my first experiences in that role was that I went to a church, and I got all these degrees now, and I'm there and doing all this stuff. And
Mhm.
and this is back 20 years ago. Grateful. I guess I've been on couple TV shows now that maybe doesn't happen as much. But back then, they introduced me, Reverend Lennox Yearwood, and they said Hip Hop Caucus, and people gave me the church finger and walked out. They're like, "Oh, we
Wow.
walked out of here." And I thought back that then, I said, "Man, if I'm here, and I got the MDiv, and I went to Howard, and I'm ordained Kojic. I'm about, I'm all that." And if you walking out, and in the words of Nas, if you more concerned about my braids and my grades, then there's a problem. And so that really humbled me. That blessed me because then it took away all of the ego, and it didn't allow me to be I'm the president of this. It let me reminding me that my people are hurting. And so that motivates me. That keeps me passionate. That I'll never forget about that feeling and about why I'm here. And I'm here to fight for my people. And I'm here, in the words of Ella Baker, to create a pathway, a light to the pathway. If you create that light to the pathway, the people will be able to see their way to freedom. And so that is still the mentality for me. And that gives me passion because then I know that it's a relay race. That I'm here to do my job. And then when my job is done and I move on off to glory, I'm going to pass it on to the next person.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm also seeing that you have a power for the arts and storytelling. Can you tell us a little more about that as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, I really feel so. Our parents didn't have the benefit of cell phones,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they didn't have computers and MacBooks, and so they had to organize differently. And for them, many of our parents in the 20th century
Hmm.
fought for equality. But our generation in the 21st century is fighting for existence.
Hmm.
And so the battle was different. And the enemy is different. The enemy is much more sophisticated. Sometimes you can't tell who the enemy is, actually.
Hmm.
And so I think that using storytelling allows for us to, like I would say, God will use the foolish things to confound the wise. And so storytelling and media allows for that. So I'm just so happy that at Hip Hop Caucus, we have a series that's out called Weathering the Storm. So proud like Ryan Coogler and his wife, Zinzi, and who created a new documentary on Katrina. That to me is almost as haunting as the film Sinners. I'm
Wow.
happy that Spike Lee did what they're doing that's coming out on Katrina. So I'm just happy that people are using media and then artists. Um, 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 who are using their voice, their music, their poetry, their dance, their musical talents
Hmm.
to really bring awareness to the issue.
Awesome, awesome. And I also too want to touch on really quick climate justice and environmental justice. Can you touch
Hmm.
on those two as well?
Yeah, well, they're the same. They're basically the same thing. I mean, they're really what it is climate justice and environmental justice means that in many cases that someone is intentionally polluting the air
Mhm.
or the water,
Right.
um, and it's causing you to become sick, and that's the injustice. And then the justice, or they're taking the land or polluting the land, and the justice part of that is that as they're making the climate or the environment toxic, it is causing us, tremendous pain, and so we are working to fix that. So one of the things there, for example, is that 68% of people of color live within 30 miles of a coal-fired power plant, causing our community to have asthma, emphysema, cancer. Um, our community is the ones who are suffering because of plastic pollution. We are
Mhm.
now, all of us is consuming a credit card size worth of plastic is going into our bodies through a week, every single week. And so
Wow.
we're the ones that are being harmed by this. So I think that the issue of justice is how do we then transition from
Mhm.
fossil fuels to clean energy that particularly impacts our community.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And my last question before we wrap, can we talk about the importance of voting rights?
Yeah. Nah, so that's one of those things people think it's old school. People don't
Mhm.
think it's people don't think that's where it's at. And I would say that voting isn't everything. But voting is so important. And I look at like this: democracy is not a spectator sport, and we have to be engaged with policy. And we know this: either you shape policy, or
Mhm.
policy shapes you.
Right.
And so the only way we can actually have an impact on policy is by first voting. It's our ticket into the arena. It's not we're not suiting up, we're not putting on the cleats, but
Right.
just our ticket into the arena. So we have a campaign called Respect My Vote, which my goodness, in this climate that we're in now, Lord, do we need respect on our
Right.
vote. Um, and so we have this campaign that we've had now, but it uses less artists get involved, but other people. But it's really about engaging, and we're doing that now. We're doing it through the midterm. We're going to keep doing that. But you can find out more about that at respectmyvote.com. I also say that if you want to get more engaged with Katrina, I want to say, yeah, I know some of that scenes removed on August 29th
Okay.
at 11:20 a.m. No matter where you are,
Okay.
we want to take a moment of silence.
That's
Take
good.
a
Okay.
take a moment on 11:20, wherever you are, and just pray for the people, pray for ourselves, pray for our courage, our resilience. Let us continue to use that moment to build, and let us know that even when we are knocked down and we feel like we've lost everything,
Mm-hmm.
that there is a God who will pick you up and sustain you to push on to the future.
That's good. That's really good. The importance of Katrina. We're rapping for real, but the importance, let everybody know the importance of keeping Katrina, the movement out front, what you're doing, and how they can follow you as well.
Yeah. The important thing about Katrina, it shows that we're still here. It
Yes.
shows that even though we get knocked down, we get back up.
Good.
And they can check us out at everything Hip Hop Caucus. Please go to Hip Hop Caucus, our social media, because we're obviously we're all throughout the country doing work. So we would love to connect with you on the front lines, wherever you are, and connect. But even more, even from that, we have some great stuff coming out. But yeah, I go hiphopcaucus.org. Please register to vote. Lord have mercy. Register to vote. Go to respectmyvote.com. And this is the beginning. And people always say, why? It's 20 years. I said, it's 20 years, but it's the beginning. Because I think that the one thing that the storm probably also uncovered is a
Mhm.
lot of things that have been hidden and ain't so much about how we being treated. So sometimes when you see things, you can deal with it better. So I think that things have been uncovered by the storm. But now it's time to go ahead and clean things up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Reverend Yearwood, for joining me. The
Thank you for
Veleka
having me.
Project, Set Apart and Chosen. And until next time, God bless you. And thank you again so much, Reverend Yearwood. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
Awesome. No problem. Thank you.
Well, that concludes this episode of the Veleka B Project with your host, Veleka B. Until next time we meet, be blessed. The Veleka B Project.